Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. We've got a interesting show for you tonight in the terms of ParaUnity. Before we get started with that, my name is Josh, and I got with me
Jamie.
And we also have the team, or part of the team, actually, from Broken Wings Paranormal.
Hello,
this is Steve.
Hi. I'm Rob. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Welcome.
you're welcome. So, kind of tell us a little bit about Broken Wings Paranormal. When did you guys get started?
So we're less than a year old. So
Newbies. Love it.
yeah, I want to say about maybe 7-8 months ago, somewhere in there, maybe even a little longer ago. But it's always been a thing. When I first started it, it was hard to get people to join me because everybody's kind of scared of that, or a little too skeptic, or afraid they might bring something home. And and I get it. I don't blame them.
Right.
But yeah, and then once I started getting some people, it started changing around. Now everybody wants to do it, and and it's kind of it's tricky to get. You can't please everybody, obviously. But so now we're trying to step out of our comfort zone and try and do some ghost tours now. So that's going to be new.
Fun.
So yeah,
Right on.
Right on. So, what made you decide to start a paranormal group?
all right. So the major thing. And it's kind of crazy. Aside from my own paranormal, happenings that I've dealt with in my personal life, my mom came to me one day, and she'd been seeing a medium. She's kind of reading up on all this different supernatural stuff, and she's like, "Your dad came through this one time," and et cetera, et cetera, and I was like, okay. She's like, somebody's been shaking my bed. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And then the same day, another friend of mine who's a truck driver, he said he heard what is that called? An out-of-body voice.
Disembodied voice.
Disembodied voice, thank you. So here's a disembodied voice, and he was going around a curve he's driving through Wyoming somewhere, and it's kind of a dangerous area, and the weather wasn't on his side. And he heard a disembodied voice that told him to slow down. And as soon as he got around a curve, there's a herd of deer walking across the road there. And he was so baffled by it that he called me and was telling me about it. And he was just, I could hear it in his voice that he was just kind of like, what's going on? This was the craziest thing in the world. And then my other buddy, and this is all in the same day.
Jeez.
Hits me up, and I know, and I'm like, I feel like I was a magnet for all this paranormal stuff, and I'm like, what? What's going on? Why is everybody telling me? Even my girlfriend said something about it. She's like, what's going on today? And my other buddy hits me up. He's like, telling me he's got poltergeist stuff going on. He had a pin thrown at him. The washer keeps pulling itself out from the wall, and it's like stretched by the cord. A lotion bottle flew off his dresser, and just all this crazy stuff, and his couch cushions were flipped, and he had a little kind of like a miniature bench that he had a planter sitting on, and the bench was flipped upside down, the planter was put right back on top of it, and just all this weird stuff. And I'm just like, okay. And he was so scared that I went and picked him up, and he stayed the night at my place, him and his girlfriend. So it was, and at this point, and I've been watching the paranormal videos and stuff, and I follow some YouTubers, and I've kind of made my own, thoughts about it and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I've had stuff happen, but I'm still skeptic because I want to know more, right?
Yep.
So I made the purchase of a spirit box, and it took me about a week to even touch it. I was scared to touch it. I was like, I'm afraid something's going to come through and talk to me, And so by the time I finally got the nerve to use it, nothing came through for me, And to be honest, it was a low quality box. And since then, I've upgraded and gotten a little bit further. But I wanted to help people as well. I wanted to help spirits, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, what? I want to get into this. I started finally getting stuff coming through, and it was, relevant. So I was starting to make I started like realizing like, hey, there's actually, definitely something here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so after I started using the spirit box a little bit and trying to kind of get out there a little bit more. I started researching like, different spirits, like, just kind of the whole world of spiritualism, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much out there, between heaven and hell, demons and angels, etc. And, a lot of it's based on religion as well. And you could go anywhere, it's like a rabbit hole.
Oh, no, it most definitely is a rabbit hole.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I want to do this. And that's kind of where I started up with my name with like Broken Wings. I was thinking of, like a lot of these spirits who haven't crossed over, they're kind of like, I look at them and like, they're like all kind of angels in a way that just haven't gotten their wings and been able to take off yet, or, go to the light, etc.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I kind of moved into that spot. So,
all right. Yeah. That's kind of like, we all have that moment, right? Where it's like,
yeah.
there's that one thing that makes you start wanting to do this more.
Yeah.
And so, having 3 people come to you in the same day, like,
right.
it's like
a sign.
It was. And that's kind of how I took it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Steve, he's been doing it a lot longer than I have.
he's been doing it longer than all of us.
Yeah.
All of us.
And combined, by the way.
And he's your newest member.
As far as, right. And he's been awesome to be on our team. He's very tech savvy. He's came up with some new ideas and new ways for us to do our ghost hunts, which is, awesome. It's been great having him on our team, and he keeps me motivated. So it's been
phenomenal.
Yeah, you got to have that. So, Steve, what got you into this?
Well, since I'm the oldest person in the room, I started with, after I saw we'll call it an orb, at a cemetery in St. Petersburg, Florida, I really started getting interested in it. And back then, being around 20 years old, 30 years old, we had digital cameras and K2s, and that's about as far as anything went back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you were using like homemade dowsing rods like you would have. Those were around, but really, at that time, all you really had was cameras. Didn't have a phone, no cell phones. It was just a camera and a K2 mirror and a flashlight.
So this is back when like you're at home and you don't even get the push button phone, you got the rotary phone.
No, not like that. But it still hung in the kitchen and you still had the buttons and it was heavy. And when you got pissed off, you could rip it off the wall and throw it. But after that, I started doing cemeteries in Florida and got away from it for a while. And then as I got older, got more interested in it. And my first visit to New Orleans and doing a ghost tour is what really got it started, probably mid-30s. And ever since then, it's just been off and on and off and on, visiting places, the oldest town in America, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Yeah.
Visiting there and going through the old jail there and the fort, and visiting older forts in like St. Petersburg. There's Fort DeSoto. We went through that. Did some group investigations at the old jail in Fort Lauderdale. Just had great experiences, and the people in this room, they're also similar for the most part.
Oh yeah.
Similar interests.
Right. When you have an interest like this, the people that are also interested have that same type of attitude. They might not want to put the time in and actually go out and do the work.
Right.
But they have the interest.
Yeah.
And after I left Florida, moved to West Virginia, obviously plenty of places in Shepherdstown and Waverly Hills and things like that out there, gave us a lot to do.
Yeah.
And most of those were large group tours, but never really, our group that we had in Florida was only like 9 people, and we would split the places up. And like the old jail, you'd have no problem 20 people in that place easy and not cover it in a day. But it was an expensive hobby. Being younger, couldn't do it all that much. Now that I'm back in Utah, got lucky. Don't even know how I even find you. I'm not even sure how that happened. But just looking through paranormal groups on Facebook, because this might interest you on Facebook, and just happened to find this group and
meant to be.
It must be.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
now I'm the equipment tech, and
Yeah,
and investigators.
He's
so.
built a couple things for us. So like he's added speakers to our K2s, for example. He's done the research and designed a SLS device, which is it's
structured light sensor camera.
Exactly. So it can pick up like stick figures in a room. It's infrared light.
Built out the Kinects.
Exactly.
The sensor
Xbox,
for
yeah,
the Xbox Kinects.
The Xbox 360 Kinect is the one I built it off of. I mean, it's mine's probably heavier than the ones that you actually see on TV, but it's not something you're carrying around full time.
Yeah,
that'd be awful.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not great. But it's a great device. It's
really
it's
cool.
almost a must have in your arsenal. Harder to find now because the Xbox 360 Kinect is kind of hard to find one that actually works. But building is no big deal. It's the same with anything else. I would prefer to build than I know what's in it if I build it.
Yeah.
I know what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Versus some of these things you see where they got little spinny lights. I'm like, what is it supposed to do though?
Look pretty.
It's supposed to look pretty.
It's supposed to look pretty. No doubt they have their purpose, but I want to understand the purpose, and
Right.
that's why I dig into those devices.
You kind of take that engineering look into it,
Right.
the scientific methodology of what and why.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
Bill Chappell, but
We're
Yeah,
electronic
well,
engineers
no one-
at best.
Nobody's Bill Chappell.
nobody's Bill Chappell, but I do my best.
So, but so you talk about you saw an orb in the cemetery when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
So, what made you go, hey, I want to know more versus I want to run the heck out of this cemetery and not come back?
Well, most likely because I've been watching horror films since I was 10 years old. So seeing something in real life versus what you would see on TV, at that point, you're like, really, what is that?
Yeah.
And it's just a light, and you would think, well, maybe it was something at a house. Well, not possible in the middle of a cemetery, but you try to
Debunk it.
yeah, you try to debunk it. And that's part of the reason why I do this is to debunk things that just obviously can be explained away.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't have a fear of anything like that. I mean, when I was really young, I had a strange out of body experience when I was really young. I swore that Joseph came and sat at the end of my bed.
So you're talking the father
The
of Christ.
Father of Christ.
Okay.
Now I know it's completely illogical, but I still have this vision to this day where I see Joseph sitting, and I ain't religious, far from it. I'm actually agnostic, but I can remember that as a child. And I've never had a fear of anything like that. My grandmother was a witch, straight up witch on my father's side.
Okay.
I mean, she could take a button and remove warts. She would do something with a button and she could touch the button on the wart. No medicine, just the button and a few words and those warts would go away. That's the type of person my grandmother was.
Interesting.
No
Wow.
kidding. So it's kind of like ingrained in your DNA in a sense.
Very possibly. Yeah, my parents were into it too. My parents were into using Ouija boards and things, seances. We had seances in my house when I was growing up.
We grew up totally different.
I didn't grow up in Utah, so it could be slightly.
Nor did I.
Oh, okay.
Nor did I.
I grew up in the great empty state of North Dakota.
Well, that might. Are there ghosts in North Dakota? I don't know.
There's got to be at least like 40 because it's like the state population.
Right.
But yeah, no, I grew up totally different. I grew up terrified of this stuff. So,
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. Like, I couldn't watch horror shows or anything. I'd rather go ghost hunting than watch a horror show that's going to jump scare the crap out of me.
I hate jump scares.
Oh, yeah.
Hate them.
But I could do paranormal all day long.
yeah.
That stuff is fascinating.
But that's how I prepare for this.
You watch horror
I
movies?
watch horror movies. I'm like, the jump scares, they don't work anymore. It's like,
Yeah, see, and that's like that's one of the misconceptions I think when people think about people in the paranormal is they're like, "Oh, you love horror movies," and it's
Yeah.
like not all of
I
us.
agree.
no. Now, I watch the Hallmark Channel more than anything.
Well,
So,
that's definitely like the opposite end of the spectrum there.
I watch the Hallmark Channel because everybody's a winner. There are never losers on the Walmart Channel.
Yeah, that's true.
Never is. So
That's
as
true.
long it keeps everybody in a positive attitude. So you watch a Hallmark movie, and Friday the 13th right after that, and you keep it on that even keel.
It evens it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to keep it level.
Yeah, but
Keep it light.
always end with the horror movie like right before you go to bed. That's
I would be the
it
opposite.
keeps me
Yeah.
stable.
Keeps me stable. If you're not watching Saw at least twice a week, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Still haven't seen those movies. Probably never will.
I haven't either.
That's probably like my wife and I's favorite.
They're pretty
Series.
good, but they watch at least once and then that's it, you know?
See, I watched Poltergeist when I was 6.
Oh, goodness.
And shortly after that, I watched The Shining. And that basically traumatized me for the rest of my... up until I was 40. Let's put it that way. Or near 40.
I would agree. I saw Poltergeist at the drive-in.
Mm.
So you were a little bit older than when you saw Poltergeist.
Yes,
Yeah.
a little bit.
So you kind of want to watch it now because it's like I can take it into context.
I saw my first movie at the drive-in was Jaws.
Nice.
Interesting.
That's cool.
I like Jaws.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Book's really good too.
It was Jaws and Blood Beach double feature at the drive-in. That was the first real movie that I went to. Yeah, I was 3.5.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember that far back.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely had different upbringings there.
That's funny.
So, what's your favorite place that each one of you investigated? It doesn't have to be together as part of Broken Wings, but in your time of investigations, what's your favorite place that you've been to investigated?
You know, this one's a tough one. Because they're all interesting and have their own unique things that come through. Some might have this, that other place might have that. But the place I've got the most activity, I would have to say, is going to be the Benson Grist Mill. And I know tons of people have probably done that place, but
Especially in Utah.
literally that place we've had family come through. We've had animal spirit come through. We've had a lot of the people that these cabins were owned by come through, and we've had friendly and negative. That was the first time we had an experience where our teammate got the 3 slash marks across her leg, and then we had our spirit portal say that we scratched Erica. And I didn't even ask it if they did. I could have swore Erica scratched her leg over in the wool ruins back behind the old mill there. And
oh, yeah.
she's
that's
like,
a
no, this
dangerous
just
place.
happened recently. And this was either on the 2nd or 3rd floor of the mill. And she's wearing capris or whatever. And she had 3 claw marks right across her ankle. And we do have it on our video as well that we did on our YouTube channel. And it's just is mind boggling. Like, we didn't realize it. The portal, it came through about 10 minutes later after that incident had happened. Erica and Brett and what else did we have with us? I think that was it at the time. They were out locking stuff back up because we were getting ready to go. And I asked the spirit portal, do you guys have anything else to say to us before we leave? And it's all, we scratched Erica. And it's like, I look at my buddy Jesse, because me and him we're in that the mill building, the second one where they grind up the mill.
Small mill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we went in there originally, we had bats flying out at us. And Erica and Brett are like, we don't do bats. So I'm like, okay, me and Jesse will, take out this one thing. And that's when it came through. And I look at my buddy Jesse and I'm just like, looking at him like, did you hear what that just said? And Jesse's like, I don't even know where Erica is. And then we without skipping a beat, the portal's like, she's outside.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just
That's
like,
awesome.
I was just like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
That's cool.
And it was crazy. And yeah, so that was probably the biggest like whoa factor I think I've had, because since then none of us have been scratched that I can recall anyway. But
It doesn't seem to be something that we've experienced a lot either, people getting scratched.
No. Well, Elisa that one time at
My old work,
corporate. Yeah.
yeah,
my old
that's
job.
crazy.
But
And when it comes in threes, they say that's like a mock against the Trinity.
Right. Usually meant to be a negative entity or demonic.
Right.
3
So-
scratches, 3 knocks, those sort of
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I've had 3 knocks happen a lot in my own personal life. And I would even wake up and be like, yeah, like I thought somebody was like a roommate was at my door or whatever. And
Nothing.
This is like 3 in the afternoon when I, because I used to sleep during the day and go to work at night. So I'd work throughout the whole night. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. So I've had the knocks. I've had one of my craziest experiences. I've had somebody sit on my bed and you could feel it sink in. And I'm just laying in bed like, okay, maybe my mind's just playing tricks on me. I'm going to put the blanket over my head a little bit and just relax here and try and go back to sleep.
Is this before you started investigating?
Yes. This is probably when I was like 15 years old. And that's probably the most memorable experience I've ever had. And about a minute later, I feel it get back up off my bed. Because like 30 seconds, 40 seconds went by. I'm like, okay, good. It's probably just in my head, And all of a sudden I feel it get up and I'm just like, okay.
Almost sounds like a loved one checking on you.
And I think that's most of them that come by. Because like when I was having some issues with my blood, I started getting...
Sorry, that's me.
I started getting
wife.
like crazy stuff happening to me constantly.
Yeah.
Almost on a daily basis. The lights in my bathroom would go on and off. Toys would go off in the front room. A coin would drop. A piece of paper would be sitting next to me, would just like flutter. I don't know how to explain it. Like somebody was holding it in there. They like tapped on it and it just kind of,
Yeah.
Ripples, yeah.
Yeah, ripples and just random weird stuff. And I honestly thought I was turning into like a paranoid schizophrenic, and I told my daughter about it. I was like, hey, I woke up to a coin dropping the other day. She's like, okay, well, I don't want to sleep in my room tonight. So she's like, I'm going to sleep upstairs on the couch because, my room's right next to hers. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I get it. Whatever, take the dog with you. Maybe she'll make you feel better. And, I come home from work because I was working graveyards at the time. And, I got home like 5 or 6 in the morning and I'm like, how was your night? Cause she was basically waking up as I was letting the dogs out and everything else. And she's like, good. I heard a coin drop. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, in the kitchen. I'm like, okay, I'll go and look in the kitchen and I find a 1918 penny on the ground. And my dad used to collect coins. And I think it was my dad just showing her that I'm not losing it in my head.
Right.
Because I really thought, I was like, I thought I was losing it. And I'm like, okay, thank goodness. That kind of reconfirms that, I'm not losing it perhaps. And that, maybe there's, something going on. And then I finally went to the doctor because, I was trying to put it off. I'm stubborn. I hate the doctors. I just, bad vibes when I go there.
Most of us do.
And so I get there and, I get some medicine. They figure out what's going on. I come home, nothing anymore, So I'm just like, okay, probably a loved one again checking in on me, trying to get me to do something. So yeah,
Get
it's
your
kind of
attention.
interesting. Yeah.
So what about you, Steve?
Mine would be a toss-up. It would be between Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo or the old jail in Fort Lauderdale. And only because of the history. I think because you automatically expect for there to be something with history like that. And it wasn't the scariest place. I mean, the scariest place was definitely not the jail. There's really not a whole lot going on at the jail. You hear more, it's more residual. But Marie Laveau's, I don't know, that place has been there forever.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just, you walk in and you feel like you're walking bare feet on nails. That's the kind of shivers you get up your spine when you go in. And when you shut off the lights in that place, there's things all over the walls, obviously. There's things hanging everywhere that can make noise. But those two places were probably the most interesting, but Marie Laveau's would be the most scary. Here in Utah, I would have to say that I had a great time at Fort Douglas. It was
That place was really cool.
Yes, the place is amazing, and you
That's a good place.
get great EVPs, and you don't need a lot of camera footage. You don't need a lot of time there, but to leave there, and then one of the EVPs that we received was reinforced after we left the building.
Mm-hmm.
We had finished and had gotten a name while we were in the library. Or the room right outside of the library, actually.
Yeah, I don't know
In
what
the
that room
trophy
is.
It's the trophy room.
Oh, gotcha.
Where they keep the munitions and old munitions and things like that. And that's where we did most of our EVPs. And then when we left, we stopped at the cemetery for a very short amount of time because it was, again, middle of winter and 20 degrees. But the name that we had gotten in that room appeared on
German,
like a German memorial site.
Yeah.
Right.
And that name appeared.
They
Wow.
had like 20 names on there.
Yeah, there was like 20 names, and that name was there. And we had asked an EVP there if they had communicated with us there at Fort Douglas, and they said we did not, or I did not, something to that effect. Did
Yeah.
not.
Right.
Was clear as a bell. So, gotta have a favorite place everywhere. And
Yeah.
I mean, every place you go, it's different history. So
Yeah, so that was just to fill the people in on that. That was a German POW camp
The memorial.
memorial. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but at the Fort Douglas, it was originally opened up as like kind of a safe passage for mail carriers, to keep help protect them from thieves and stuff. And then it was an army base.
It was huge.
Yeah,
It was actually
like 50 something acres, if I remember right.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Salt Lake City, it housed all of the University of Utah campus, and then further down. So it was massive. I think it was 500 acres. It was probably one of the largest facilities out here at the time.
Yeah, and
Considering there was Mormon settlers that were here.
I think it was the 1870s it opened up originally.
I believe so.
We were in 2 of the 5 buildings that were left standing. But
There's more actually.
Yeah.
There's more stuff there. What's neat though, and for those of us who don't even knew this even existed, out in Salina, Utah, the reason why there's the German memorial there in the cemetery is because in Salina, Utah, we had a German POW camp there, and what ended up happening is one of the guards just snapped.
Yep.
And he opened fire with a machine gun into the POW's tent and ended up killing 20 people. And
Was it
that's
20? I thought it was like 7, but
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's he killed a grep of people, and that's why their names are there. That's why they're buried here in Utah. Because
I
you
was
wouldn't
gonna say,
think
they moved their graves up to that Fort Douglas cemetery as well.
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't think that you'd have Nazi soldiers buried here in Utah. So
yeah, and they were coming right through. So as Steve was saying, our EVPs, the first one that we got that came through so clear, like we'd call it a Class A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Yes.
came through, and one of our friends that came with us on that haunt asked, "Have you ever used any of these guns that were hanging on the wall?" And we got back Maßmann Machen, which is, and I had my German buddy who served a mission over in Germany for a couple of years translate it for me, and he said that translated into one must do. So totally relevant. On what was said there, and then
just note he might not have said that right, but it's pretty close.
yeah. It's either man Moss Machen or Mon Mas. Anyway,
we're not exactly native German speakers here.
yeah. Well, we did bring the EVP, so we can go over those. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, we got
one.
We got one there too, but it said one word, and it said Heil.
Oh,
Yep.
Interesting.
And it was right next to the actual machine gun and the Nazi flag that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. My EVP went off right there, really good. I was like, okay, we should probably come back and do this, and we never did.
We never got back. We never got back out there.
We didn't get around to that.
No,
We were having
it-
too much fun.
It is a large facility, but there's other buildings on there that were from that area. There's an officers' quarters. There's an officers' club that's up there. There's actually several buildings that are part of the museum itself. They're just not generally open to the public.
Right. Yep. He was saying that. to
Even
us
the
as well.
church that's there. So
Yeah. I'd love to go in the
if you
church.
go, if you walk closer to where the hotel is, there's a new modern hotel. If you go past it to the like northeast and then hang a left, you'll go where the new like hotel is, and there's this old stone church that's there that's supposed to be haunted too by a lady in white. Which, let's face it, everywhere you go, there's like a lady in white.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily not make sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, gosh, with so much, so many spirits out there and everything, I believe anything is possible. It's so crazy. And even after starting the paranormal, like so much random stuff happens now, and I'm just like, it's crazy. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the spirits are attracted to us more, because we try to communicate with them.
You're like a beacon after a while. I
Yeah,
think.
I feel like definitely.
For sure.
And I'll tell people, I'm like, hey, you want to do like a spirit box session, and they'll be like, no. Or, they'll say maybe. And then, and like after I hung up with you, this happened. And I'm like, yeah, I believe it, So it's kind of interesting too.
Well, yeah, because obviously every time I finish a piece of equipment, I don't test it inside. I have to take it outside because I'm not having that inside my house.
Right.
And I feel like
So-
I kind of learned that lesson too. I feel like, you shouldn't test your stuff at your house unless you're really confident in your abilities to.
You shouldn't investigate your own place.
Agreed.
No.
Whoops.
Whoops. not to say that we haven't done it on occasion.
Yes, but we've done it because there was something here
Yeah.
wanting help. And this is why I say sometimes after doing this for a while, you become, in a way, like a beacon. And so they kind of seek you out if they want help
Yeah.
or they need to say something. So
It's kind of like that big sign. Come talk to me. Come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a good example is that when we went to Merker Cemetery, it mentioned a date to us that
Yep.
we're like, oh,
Mention the 4th.
yeah, we didn't even ask it for a date. It's
And
like-
that was when we were supposed to be
December
going to Asylum
4th.
49.
I'll be
Yes.
darned.
And then we were like, "Are you guys going to talk to us there?" And just, Steve asking them, and we had like 5 different voices come through, and one was like, "Yes, yeah, sure." All this, I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
See, I tend to believe the spirit box
crazy.
more when you get out to Merker Cemetery. For those of you who don't know,
Right.
Merker Cemetery is the only remaining structure from the old mining town of Merker. And it is in the middle of nothing.
and all
Up
the
on a
graves
hill.
are unmarked,
Yep.
Yeah.
not a
And
single name on any of the graves
there's
there."
there's no
But I
cell
can
phone. There's
No radio.
there's no radio,
Nothing.
FM or AM.
Yep.
It is like you're in no man's land out
Yep.
there. So just if you ever go out there, just be safe, watch for snakes and
And be respectful,
And
as
be
always.
respectful.
We had a coyotes out there howling,
oh yeah.
and we caught a really cool orb. It literally looks like a bubble. And I slowed it down, froze frame it just to double check it. It's so cool. And our EVPs were really cool too there.
Yeah.
That place is a cool place.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
Definitely.
It was 25 degrees.
it was
really
cold.
cool.
What,
Oh, my.
wait, okay, hold on a sec. We live in Utah.
Yeah.
It gets nice and warm and hot here. How is it that you guys are managing to go every place
When
and
it's
be
cold.
frigid cold?
Because we wait till the winter.
Oh.
I'm not sure why that
It's,
is. Because I haven't been on the team long enough to have done anything outside of the winter. I did a couple investigations with other groups before I joined this group. The public events
Yeah.
where they take like 15, 20 people. And when I joined the group, I'm like, I don't want to do any more of this 15, 20 people.
Yeah. It gets to be too much.
I mean, if you're at Asylum 49, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're anywhere that's that size, that's fine. 15, 20 people. You can do that. But you go to Benson Grist Mill, yeah, if you want to keep everybody in separate buildings, you can do that. But if you're going to go do something small like the Ritz Theater, where
2 rooms.
2 rooms where you can hear right through the wall,
Yeah.
you can't take 15, 20 people. But that's run by themselves. So they do that. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily a group, but that's hosted by the same people every time. So it was still a great investigation being at the Ritz Theater, but I like the small feel. I mean, I would love to co-op and do more investigations in larger places. Doesn't even have to be larger places as long as,
we're not stepping on
you're
each
not
other's
stepping on each other's
yeah.
toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything goes fine.
Well, yeah, because we did a co-op at the Ritz Theater
Yeah,
with you
we
guys.
did. This was before Steve was on our team, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was fun, and it was a neat investigation. But yeah, you could kind of hear through the theater walls, which makes you wonder how in the world they ever watch two movies simultaneously in that building.
Yeah, they had to be fighting for volume control as to which one,
Yeah.
either that or maybe that's where they show the Hallmark movies because there's no action in those.
And that's
so
the first place
they
I've
all
ever
sound
seen a
the same.
crying room. And,
They-
A
yeah.
baby room.
yeah.
They have the crying room. Yeah, that's not what you think it's for, though. It's to take children when they were crying back in the day.
Right, crying room.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
guess for
you
the
could
people
go in
who
there and
don't
cry. That room was ridiculous, man. Just trying to get 3 people in there to do an EVP session was just not fun.
There's like 8 seats in there.
yeah,
Like,
it's 8
Yeah, at
seats.
least.
yeah. Yeah, it's a great place.
It is.
I had a lot of fun
Yeah,
there.
we caught EVPs right off the start. I was just doing B-roll with my camera, and stuff was coming through my microphone.
Now that is one
Unprovoked.
place where we had multiple REM pod hits off of the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had REM pod hits at the Ritz constantly answering us. And as soon as I would get up close to it, gone.
So they just didn't like you want to be near
They
it.
didn't want us to be anywhere near the stage. And I put it on as far as I could reach because you're not allowed to walk on the stage. So I put it literally as far forward as you're not supposed to walk on the
Whoops.
stage. So I put it as far out as I could do it. And so we weren't close enough to where, and there obviously nothing around it. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
That place, the first place I had a cat come through my spirit portal meowing.
Wow.
And the lady there said that they used to have another cat there and that other guests have seen a cat there. And I was like, really? I was like, that's crazy.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
But
In fact, it happened that night that we were doing it. So when we co-opted, but I know you guys were kind of doing your own investigation, but yeah,
yeah, a little bit here and
Yeah.
there.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, just kind of playing around and trying stuff out and playing with that place. But no, I totally get Steve's thought process of, because we used to do Publix and stuff like that, and we did Waverly Hills, which was our first actual real big investigation. But there was 100 people
place
in
is
that
cool.
building, which
Yeah.
that's a lot of people. And
It's a big place,
it's a giant
but that's
building.
still too many people.
But the problem is a lot of people were, as we call it, paranormal tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to go. I'm on an investigation, so one, they don't take it serious. They kind of play around in the halls. Thankfully, they leave early.
right.
But if you're if you're in a room and then you got other people trying to jump scare each other in the hallway, it really makes it tough to actually do an investigation
Yeah.
of any kind.
And we had 2 slightly inebriated people when we did the Ritz. That's not the greatest. And when we did Benson Grist with the other group, and and nothing against the other group, obviously they hosted it was fantastic. But people, when you get that many people, the tourists, they don't shut up.
When people start
No.
talking,
They
Yeah.
just talk and
that's
talk and
kind of why
talk.
we keep our
And
groups short.
you don't want to be rude. You don't want to be rude and,
Right.
and say, oh, whatever, be quiet. You don't want to do that because they're asking questions to the people because they don't understand or something. You don't want to shy people away from it either. So you grin and bear
Yeah,
it.
you make the most of it when you can. But it definitely pushes you in the direction of like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this. So
Let's start our own group and
Yeah.
just keep it small.
And that's kind of how we didn't want to, we didn't want any influence. We didn't want extra people there. We just kind of wanted to keep it small, short and sweet. And honestly, I was thinking, 1 or 2 people in the group originally. And I originally hit up my buddy Brett, who I play computer games with and just do all kinds of stuff with, and I'm like, hey man, you wanna join our team? And he's like, nope. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm like, no worries, man. And then I get a call from his wife like a few hours later. She's like, we're gonna be on your team. I'm
Nice.
like, oh really?
Which changed your
And
mind?
my buddy Brett, before I could even ask him what happened, he's like, and just on one condition though, I'm the cameraman because they're the last to die. And I'm like, yeah, that's something he would say. So, and I'm like, okay. So she's like, yeah, as soon as Brett told me that, you invited him, she's like, she got all excited about it. And I was like, yeah, heck yeah, cool. Cause everybody else has just been like, nope, I don't mess with that. So
Right.
that was cool. And, she loves it as much as I do. And I found out she used to do seances and stuff back in, her day and stuff. So That's pretty cool. And Brett, he could care less, I think, about some of it, to be honest. But he's starting to get a little bit more like, I want to get my own EVP device now, and he wants to get a night vision camera. So, he's kind of got the bug now, too. So it's pretty cool.
It's an expensive hobby.
It really is. Especially, some of these places charge a lot of money.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
It's
Well, the old
insane.
jail in Fort Lauderdale, even 20 years ago, was $2,000.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
that's a crap of money.
Yeah. And maybe not 20 years ago, probably around 15 years ago, but regardless, it's still a lot. I mean, then you would go to Fort DeSoto for donation, kind of like Petit Need is here.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, just, throw us a few bucks and we'll just let you in here. And all they had to do was let security know that you were going to be in there for a few hours after dark.
Yeah.
They would just be like, just hand them money. But a lot of these places, they're not expensive until they're on TV.
Yeah.
And just because they're on TV doesn't make them any more active.
No.
That would be fantastic if that was the case. Then I would just, okay, season 1, episode 1, you went here, and I would just follow right behind him. That's just the way it would, just if that's how it works, then that's great. But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
No. The most expensive place I've ever found is $1,000 an hour.
Oh, Titanic
goodness.
Museum in Branson, Missouri.
Yep.
Oh.
That would.
Yeah.
And I wanted to die when I heard that. Because it's like it's 5 hours and it's $1,000 and it's
An
like
hour.
oh my god, or $1,000 an hour,
At
so
least-
$5,000.
At least they let you, though. Some people are like, we don't, like, because we reach out to people and we ask, hey, can we, research your venue or whatever? They're like, no. we don't do that here.
They
And I'm just
look
like,
at you like
okay.
you're complete and utter bananas. Like I was up actually out shopping for things to make spirit boxes out of, up in Magna. And I was hitting all the thrift stores, buying all the radios. So I stopped at this thrift store in Magna. And let me tell you, the thrift store is really freaking cool. I mean, they've got some not thrift store items in there.
Yeah.
So I was talking to the lady and I said, she said, well, what do you, told her I'm looking for little radios because their shop's a mess. You can't find anything. And she said, no, I don't really have any right now. Not anything that small. And I said, okay, that's fine. And she said, what do you want it for? If you don't mind me asking. And I said, well, I'm going to build paranormal equipment out of those little radios. And she said, oh, really? She said, we've had some people come in here before. She said, you've heard of Nona's up the road and stuff. And I that used to be there. And obviously that crew has been out there, and done investigations out there, and Nona's it no longer exists. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have done an investigation in Nona's. And I said, what would you think? Cause she said, we have weird stuff happening here all the time. I said, well, what would you think about us, doing an investigation here? She said, I don't stay up that late. I'm not sure I exactly believe in that. I said, well, we don't have to do it at night. She said, I really don't know that I believe that it can't be explained away. And I wasn't going to sit there and try and convince her, that's not my, I don't want to, and I know she's not going to let us in there on our own because she has tons of stuff and she don't know me from Adam, so, you look at some people, you ask them and they just look at you like you're crazy. And then some people like her, she's just like, just shy away from it, but there's so many places out there. You can't run short on locations.
No, it's just
That's true.
it's tough to find at times. It's tough to find people willing to let you in.
Yeah.
Because people think, and each area is obviously going to be a little bit different from each other, right? Depending on the religious affiliation in the area.
Yeah.
Some places are like, no, we're not going to talk about that. We don't discuss that. That's a no. And other places, they're super willing and allowing for people to come in.
They just want to, some of them are like, okay, but we want you to show us what you get. We want to talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to tell you what we got. And one lady was so thrilled with some of the stuff we got. She's like, well, I normally don't let too many people come up, after they've done an investigation. But she's like, if you guys want, you just let me know anytime. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So it's pretty cool. And I showed her an apparition we caught, and our spirit portal picked up, I think, the apparition because it was a little boy, and the spirit portal spirit box. So the difference is that, one is app based and one is radio wave based. So our spirit box, it started telling us, name was Luca, 3 years old, et cetera, and I was just like, oh, that's awesome, So that was pretty cool experience, when you can show the people that you're booking it from, or doing the investigation from, their own stuff that they can see in their own building,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues is unfortunately there's groups out there that ruin it for everybody else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so if you do go out and you get to a chance to investigate a place, just treat it with respect and
Exactly.
don't be a butthead.
Don't ruin it for all of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of places used to, and they're like, no, we're good. We let the wrong group in here and we'll never do it again.
Yep. Stuff goes missing, or stuff gets touched and misplaced. And, especially some places like the museums, for example, they ask you not to touch anything, stuff like that. So,
Well, Fort Douglas, they made it quite clear.
Yeah.
You went in there, they told you exactly what was off limits.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, you are literally ruining it for everybody else.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen every time, hands down.
Yeah.
It's either that or they're gonna jump up the price to, if the owner's the one who wants to do it, they'll be like, well, we'll just charge more, and then we won't get jerks in here.
Don't get the riffraff.
Well, you hope.
We won't get the riffraff.
Right.
You hope, right? Maybe a lesser chance, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. Some places, like, people will do rituals.
Oh yeah.
And that,
or a lot of provoking. Provoking's
Yeah.
frowned upon in some places, and we do
Absolutely.
not do provoking.
I don't recommend it.
And that's the other thing is, I wouldn't recommend it either.
Well, the problem is glorious TV shows. They show them doing it on TV, and it becomes the way, right? It's like, well, if the bear's not going to talk to me, I'm just going to poke it until it yells at me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem is one, you don't know what you're leaving for other people, but two, you create this open invitation,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know when the spirit's going to fulfill it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they could do it right now. They could
Months,
do it later.
years.
Yeah.
They'll hit you. Yeah.
Oh, they'll pay somebody else back for your shenanigans.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the shows have gotten away from that. In fact, I think even the one show that it was most common on is not as common as it used to be.
I've stopped watching that show.
Well,
so but,
I still watch it for ideas. I mean, new equipment ideas and stuff. That's the biggest thing for me to watch. It's laughable at this point, but
sometimes locations too. Sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
hey, where can I go? Because like if you let them in, like you might be open to letting
Maybe.
other people
Yeah.
in. Then it's just a matter of how many Benjamins they want when you
Well,
show
good-
up.
good luck contacting
see
any of
dollars.
those places that you find in that 25 season running show that
We'll let you in.
that in Utah will still let you in.
Yeah. So you need to see some Discovery Channel money, and then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There. Let's face it. There are things that these shows, because of who they're backed by, either Discovery or Travel or these big networks,
Right.
it does give them leverage to getting into places.
Sure.
Like,
Really does.
one of the places I would love to investigate would be The Rock. I would
Alcatraz.
love to go out to Alcatraz.
Oh man, you and me both.
But to
Let's
do
do it.
private filming out there is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, we've looked into it.
They only let
It's-
you just a small portion of that place too, I believe,
Well, again,
since it is big.
If-
Let's not be-
if you have money,
yeah, there
you
go.
can do more. Like it's $10,000 to film there a day. Well, obviously
Can you stay the night though?
you can stay the night.
Okay, well for 10 grand,
10 grand though.
if you take just enough people that it's only about
A
10
grand
grand.
apiece, yeah.
Take
We can do
take
that.
20. Take 20.
$500 a piece.
$500 a pop. I would pay $500 to stay the night on Alcatraz.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the only other issue is you need about 60 pages of contracts and other fun stuff. But
Yeah, drone
There-
permits, etc. It all comes out.
some places don't even let you do that.
Oh yeah, I know. We've had it. So
So what's the scariest thing you guys have ever seen or witnessed or have happened to you?
You want to go first on this
No,
one?
you go first.
Yeah?
I'd have to think about it.
All right. Well, I would say probably my first ever paranormal experience. Sorry, let me get a little closer here. So my first paranormal experience I had, I think I was about 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
I was pretty young. We just moved into a new house, and I was down in the basement. My stepdad at the time was, it was an unfinished basement. So they were finishing the basement. And I remember he went upstairs. He had his brother over. My step uncle was there, and they were doing something on the wall. And I heard something over there, some kind of scratching or something. And I go over there to look at it. And, part of the wall, they had a kind of like sheetrock going over on sheetrocked on fully on one side, and they're sheetrock on the other side. So I'm looking in here in between the subframes, and one of the sheetrocks pieces was going, across the the framing a little bit to where it kind of had like an enclosure, so you could kind of reach in there. They hadn't cut the wall off or whatever they were planning to do with it yet. And I'm looking in there, and I see this I don't know how to explain it. It was a finger. It was a finger, and it was moving, and it was partial hand that I could see just sticking through the wall. And I was like, what the heck is that? And it was almost giving me like a, hey, come here motion with the finger.
Come here, little kid.
And then...
Was it this finger?
yeah, no. And then so I run upstairs to go get my mom, and I bring my mom downstairs, and I'm looking in there, and it's gone. Nothing. And it's just all I see is the wooden frame there, and blew my mind. So that was probably the weirdest thing, and I've only seen, one apparition in my face at once, one time before, and it was totally different because I could tell this was like a spirit figure. Whereas this hand looked like it was really there. Like I could reach out and touch it. Like it was, I couldn't see through it or anything. It wasn't opaque. Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah.
And it looked kind of like a green, moldy, like a witch's hand or something that you would see, from, I don't know, like the old Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And so that was really crazy. That was probably my most crazy experience.
Well, I can imagine at 5 or 6, like
Right.
that
I'd
would
be terrified.
terrify you.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't even fathom it. I was just like, I was like, what the heck was that? So it was weird. But
What about you, Steve?
No, I'd have to say the weirdest thing and probably the scariest thing that ever happened was house shopping in West Virginia. Now we're an old
history
mining
there.
town.
Yeah.
All the houses are late 1800s, 1900s. There's newer stuff, obviously, but we were shopping all houses because it's maybe 5,000 people in the whole town. So, and that includes college. One of the houses that we went into, I think it was built around 1876, and in the basement. And the guy told us not to go down there, and we probably should have. In fact, my wife didn't go down. I was the only one that went down in the basement, and it had one of those wells.
Oh, yeah, the old house wells.
And I've never been scared out of a building. And the stairs going down into the basement were just slats of wood. I mean, they were really not even stairs because you're just going down in more of a cellar than a basement. Well, the well was still down there, and it was covered. Well, as I was turning to leave, the cover...
Oh, geez.
Like that. Up those stairs I went. Maybe not that many taps, but something like that, where it was like a weird tapping noise on the wooden cover of the well, and that was it. I was out.
I'm out.
Nevertheless, we did not buy that house. In fact, the house we bought was built in the 70s, so...
Oh, wow.
Not the 1870s.
Not the 1870s, the 1970s, and it was all good.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
It's interesting that the real estate guy is like, don't go down to the basement.
Yeah.
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 So he must have either knew that there was something down in the basement or just didn't want you tripping and breaking your neck on really bad stairs.
Well, and it was the same weird feeling, when you go down and you automatically, because they've warned you, and this is part of the reason why I shy away from and desire information when I go to a location, kind of hot and cold on that because sometimes I want to know something, but maybe not everything.
Right.
You need an idea. I mean, yeah, you want your own experience, but you need to know something going in, right? So it's the same thing. So I go down, he says, I wouldn't go down there. There's nothing to see. Well,
now you have to go see it.
Exactly. So when you say that, I'm going down.
Exactly.
'cause all of the houses were creepy, but that basement, that took the cake. But it was the same thing when we visited Shepherdstown in West Virginia. And yeah, show's been done on that. And no, we won't get into controversy or anything like that here. But you got the feeling because you have seen shows, you know what to expect. So you go to Shepherdstown, you go over by the water that runs under every house in Shepherdstown, and that's not a joke. That waterway runs through the whole town.
Jeez.
And you stand next to it and you feel it. Like
Wow.
you feel that energy coming off of that water. And that I truly believe that water carries something.
It's like a conductor, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same thing when you go to Gettysburg and you don't even have to go there at night. You just go there in the daytime and you get out of your vehicle and you stand next to anything in Gettysburg. You feel the energy. You don't even have to be as sensitive to feel it. You just know it's there.
Wow.
Yeah, there are those places, right, that just have that energy associated to it. And like Gettysburg, right? That's great trauma. That's great sadness. There's so much emotion tied to that.
Yeah.
Right. We had a similar thing at Waverly too. And we went into Waverly. You felt the building and it felt like heavy and oppressive. And it was just this overwhelming sadness that would like seep into you.
Lots of worry, I'm sure.
Well, you hear the word sanatorium.
Yeah.
Right.
And you automatically know whether it was tuberculosis that killed people or whether it was mistreatment or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But you already know that going in. So you expect to feel something, but you don't know what you're going to feel until you actually feel it. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, well, you already know. Well, no, you don't until you actually feel it.
Experience it. Yeah.
Yeah, and each time, and that's the cool thing about going to places and investigating, right? Is like you go there one time and it feels a certain way, but you go back and it's like this doesn't feel like it did the last time we were here.
Right.
I agree. I guess I don't really need to explain it, but yeah, some of these places you go to a second time, it's just totally different vibes, different spirits coming through, etc.
Yep.
So it's kind of crazy.
Which is one of the reasons why you want to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're doing Petite Neat. I mean, I haven't done it, but
and
it'll
we
be
didn't
their
even get to
second
finish.
time.
We
That's
didn't
a
even
fun
get to
place.
finish all the places in there, because
Yeah.
There's just not time.
There's-
So, but
exactly.
we're going to split into two. We are inviting a few extra people. We still have a few spots left for people that might want to come. It'll be a nice experience because, for one, we have 5 times more equipment than we had before. We have
Always helps.
a lot more cameras. Well, I don't know how much equipment they had before, but we have a ton of more equipment.
Too much equipment.
Now
heavy.
you almost need a van just to bring the equipment, but that's okay. But it'll be nice to go in there and set the new equipment up, do 2 teams where you can split, because it is large enough to split 2 groups apart.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can switch sides, kind of like we did with Fort Douglas. We were in one building for half the time and then the other building the other half of the time. And you just work it out. And you will get, number one, if you bring a different person, you're going to get different energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, having other equipment with the music box and all that stuff that we're going to be able to set up, plus all the constant cameras, we'll find more stuff, because he keeps saying, oh, well, I just keep buying all these night vision cameras. And he's like, well, you keep buying all these cameras. We got so much more video to watch. Can you say that for me?
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of
It's a
editing,
lot.
especially when you're the editor.
yeah.
So
When he's the editor, I'm the tech guy. He's the editor.
I think I spent 8 hours once just editing stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a break. So
But it's worth finding, the more equipment you have, it does increase your chances.
yeah, in fact,
I mean, I want to buy a DVR system now where we just have
and I think that would be nice.
a good set of cameras.
Yep.
Got
we,
one.
we got one of those.
And you know what? We've set it up. We ran it for 12 hours. and we haven't watched a single ounce of footage off of it.
Where do we have the time?
That's hard too, because you're always like in the back of your head, you're just like, you feel like you're gonna get a jump scare at some point,
Right.
yeah, you're just waiting for it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like 12 hours, 4 cameras. Got to watch one camera at a time.
Yeah.
That's 48 hours. It's like
Yep.
It's a lot.
It
sometimes,
is.
and you know,
You have a kid.
oh,
Pay him.
I don't trust him to do that
I
stuff.
don't trust him to be. Yeah.
But you know, to Rob's credit, though, like the more stuff you have, right,
Yeah.
the more you have to review. If you've got like when we started out, we had one camera and one digital.
Yeah.
And then you get 4 hours here and 4 hours there. It's like, it's not so bad.
Not a big
But then
deal.
it's like, I got 5 cameras and 4 digitals. And it's like 4 hours ends up being 40 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's cool is so Steve will break down what he got on his static cameras, which is nice because, you know, he'll pull those and he'll send those over to me, and I'm like, all right, I can fit these in where I can, you know. And and I feel like some of our videos, I feel like we have so much stuff that it's just kind of hard for people to digest. But we have such good stuff too that I just don't want to throw it away either, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And that's the
it's kinda
thing.
Interesting.
And that's the thing. I guess that's one of the beautiful thing about doing YouTube and being, you know, a YouTuber in this aspect, right?
Right.
Is we have control over what we put out into the world.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, with that being said, like we have to do the work and put it out into the world.
Right. Right.
Like we've got apparitions we've caught on our YouTube, and you know, it's just so crazy. And like you can't, I mean, I guess you could make it up, but like we definitely didn't make it up, you know. In fact, we have one of our videos where we didn't get anything, so we still posted it though, because we want to, you know, show everybody that, hey, not every time you go out you're going to get something.
Exactly.
And so we're trying to keep it, you know, true to the actual paranormal vibes. We're not trying to, you know, set up a hidden fishing line somewhere or, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, make stuff move. And, you know, because there's so much there already. Like, we don't need to do that, you know? And,
Well, you have a different audience too. YouTube
Very
audience
true.
and television audience are two totally different things. People don't watch some shows because they're good. People watch shows because
They're
they're in
entertaining.
love with that guy. Or I mean, I'll give you an example. I'll name one show that I really enjoy because I think it's real. I don't even want to say the word real. I just think it's true to form. Is Destination Fear.
Okay.
Okay.
See, I like the Ladens just seem, and the rest of those, the other guys, I just think they're very genuine. They act like people. They don't go in and they go in
over enthusiastic.
They're not. No, they're not. Well,
Maybe to
to a point. I
To a
mean,
point.
I mean, mostly Chelsea.
now I
But-
haven't seen it, so I can't.
But
vouch for
it is a great show. I mean, I give them props for what they do because I think that I don't want to be the guy that goes out 13 nights in a row and stays in a different place. I'm not saying that's how they actually do it, but that's the format.
Yeah.
So you know, maybe they take a day or two in between, but they, you know, regardless of how they do it, there's places that they're staying the night that I don't want to stay the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, the one thing we don't ever see, right, is that they don't go and do it like we do, right? We go in, we do a one and done.
Yeah.
We go in, we record, we're out, we edit. That's the world, right?
They're multiple days.
They're
though.
multiple days.
They're like 2,
Yeah.
3 days.
They make it look like
It's just
a
one.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's not like 12 hours of investigation. It's 36.
right.
Yep.
And it's like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just a lot of time in one spot. Now, granted, I would love to do it, but I'd love to do it on my accord, not on the producers and the production
Right.
schedule thing.
Well, when you know the producers are like, well, we got to do this for ratings, and you know they're not doing anything, and well, most of it can't be done in one take.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell where otherwise there'd be no editing necessary, right?
Right.
So you don't edit, where you put the commercials in the middle of a sentence. I mean, that's
Right.
not how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so what kind of advice would you give? What's one piece of advice you would give somebody who is new to the paranormal, who wants to go out and do, you know, an investigation, whether it's public or private?
Go in with an open mind. I mean, that's really the most important thing. Is if you're not open minded about it, you're not going to enjoy it. You really aren't. And don't go drunk, for the love of God.
Or stoned.
Or stoned. I mean, especially,
Yeah.
go in with an open mind. Talk to people while you're there, get a better understanding, ask questions, because anybody that is an experienced investigator, it doesn't even matter if they've only done it a handful of times, they can pretty much answer your questions. So that's really all I would have.
What about you, Rob?
I completely agree with that. I would say, if technology you're interested in, or whether the fact that maybe you see more things than other people see, I would say you do some research, because, there's a lot out there. Now, whether you know what to look for, I guess, could be a whole other thing. But the more you absorb, the more knowledge you can kind of go in there with, and have that at your back. And as far as you want to go investigate somewhere for the first time, I would say get an EVP device, some kind of recorder.
And a K2.
And a K2. Very helpful. Find a hot spot, pull out your EVP, and start asking questions, And if it's a place that has history, ask something that pertains to that history. I would say that's probably the best way to go about it. So, and the EVPs, those are just, you can't make that stuff up. So when those things come through, it's like, whoa, something, if you were a skeptic before, you're definitely not going to be a skeptic after that. So
and it makes you want to go and do it more.
It really
to
does.
get more EVPs.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I got chills up my back just talking about it. So it's just,
it's been too long though, man. It's been too long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to find places in between.
And we're pretty fortunate being in Utah with all these. There is a lot right now. It's really cold out, so a lot of the stuff we're trying to find now, we're trying to find indoor stuff.
Yeah,
there's not much though.
Come summertime though, we have an arsenal of stuff that we want to do.
Well, that's what makes it nice, right?
Yeah.
We live in a town or a state that was a crossroads state.
Yeah,
people were going to the gold fields, coming back from the gold fields, right? There's a huge, rich history with the Mormon settlers and stuff that's happened in Utah. So the Golden Spike, right? The Transcontinental Railroad and all of this stuff. So it's a wonderful state to be in, at least from that aspect. And if you're not into the paranormal, right? There's ghost towns everywhere.
Yeah, we want to go down to
So
Delta.
true.
My wife wants to go down to Delta, that's where her dad's from, and we haven't been down to the ghost towns in Delta. Of course, we're probably going to take the side-by-side to get out there to some of the places she wants to go.
Yeah.
So, which is no big deal. Just can't pack quite as much equipment because I only got a 2-seater. Now I got a reason to buy a 4-seater.
There you go.
Better you than me. Let's just put it that way.
Upgrade.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance that we'll get down there in places you can actually go outside. I mean, nighttime investigating down in the boonies. It won't be 100 degrees. It'll be comfortable because it can get cooler at night. We don't. Not like Florida where it's 90 when you get up and 90 when you go to bed.
And 80% humidity
Right.
the entire day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was enough for 30 years, but So we want to get out and do
we're
more,
excited.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that I feel like hasn't even been done yet that I have just, sitting in the back of my head that I want to go do,
I want to do that massacre place wherever that is around.
The Cedar Valley.
Stinks. Is that what it's called? Cedar Valley, whatever.
It's close. It's Cedar. It's in Cedar City, right? It starts with an M.
It's that
I can't remember.
I got wonderful stories about that, but we'll leave that part for another time.
Well, I have a question though before we go.
Yes, absolutely.
So everybody talks about paranormal bucket list. So I want to know, what is a location that's on your bucket list that's 1, in the state of Utah, and then 2, just in the U.S., and then 3, outside of this country?
Ooh, 3-parter.
It's a 3-parter.
I want to do the Ram's Head Inn over in Europe. And it's I think it's from the 1200s or the 1400s, somewhere
So
in
it's
there.
fairly new.
Yeah. In fact, the road next to it has been built over so many times. It's 10 feet taller than the front door is.
Nice.
So they had to build stairs down to it. And that place is old when it was built with mud and straw in between the frames.
Nice.
And sticks and stuff. And anyway, that place, they found 2 children bodies in it, and they found a mummified cat, and I watched a group do it, and I fell in love with that place. It's just so old, and the history there is so cool, and the way the house was built. nothing is level. They didn't have levels back then, right? So, the walls are slightly, arched over, and it's just really cool. And so that'd probably be my out of the U.S. place.
What about in the U.S.?
Oh my goodness. Where do I start?
Yeah, you only get one.
I know. There's this one place, I think it's down in Texas, called the Bel Air House. And now I don't know a whole lot of history about it, but I think it was related to the miners of that era. And the house next to it, I believe somebody died in that house as well. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. However, the house next to it is abandoned, but they do, they have a lot of stuff moving in that house, a lot of positive, well, some positive and a lot of negative, but they have a lot of movement in that house, which is kind of interesting. So, and that's something I don't normally see, I would say, on an investigation, is something moving. So that would be really cool. I only had one thing move, and that was at Benson Grist Mill, and it could possibly be jocked up to vibration from my spirit portal. So that's hard to say, but I had an orgone move. So I think I would probably go with the Bel Air House, just because, from what it's known for. As far as Utah,
one you haven't done yet.
One I haven't done yet.
It could be one that you got scheduled. It doesn't matter, but it's just one that you haven't done yet.
That you want to do.
I would like to find the old cabin to, was it Billy the Kid? Or no?
I know which one you're talking about. It's out by Vernal,
Sundance,
Utah.
Maybe it's the Sundance Kid I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's out in Vernal, Utah.
Yeah, it's one of the two. And there's a whole lot of conspiracy on he was buried here or he was buried over here. So I would like to go find his tiny little, I think it's like a 10 by 10 cabin or an 8 by 8 cabin out in the middle of the woods. Yeah. And a lot of it's hidden. You could probably dig it up on the internet somewhere, but I had seen one group find it, but they didn't do it. It wasn't a paranormal group that found it. It was a different,
like Urban
show.
Explorer.
Yeah. And it was actually on television series. But I think that would be probably pretty cool. But, there's so many here too. A lot of them are closed down, so we can't do them anyway. Like the Ben Lomond Hotel, for example, now their apartments.
I know, we looked at that. Just last month we were looking at that.
Yeah, just last month.
Yeah. I mean, that would have probably been my go-to. But, that's like, we've researched it and we can't, there's no way we can get into there either.
Yep.
But
yeah.
Exactly. What about you?
State of Utah. I want to investigate the entire realm of Jacob City because it isn't there anymore.
Yeah, Jacob City.
Definitely want to check that out.
Do you guys know where that's at?
Not heard of that one.
It's this mountain right over here. Oh, sorry,
Tooele.
right over there.
Go, yeah.
From where Stockton is. Just past south of Tooele.
Okay. I will say this. I am absolutely atrociously bad with Utah geography, but I know where Tooele's at.
Okay, it's 10 minutes outside of Tooele.
Okay.
Maybe 15, but regardless. It's an old mining town that's no longer there. There are still some freestanding buildings. I know where everything that used to be there is located to check that out. There is an abandoned mine there that I would really like to check out because I know there was some disasters at that abandoned mine. As far as outside of the state, the old Ohio State Penitentiary.
The Ohio State Reformatory.
Reformatory,
right?
yes.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely one.
The Ohio Reformatory. Outside of the country, it really don't matter.
Just give me something.
Because if you go anywhere,
I was just going to say
Scotland or Ireland or England, I don't care outside it, or maybe even Romania, but any place, because that's twice as old as here.
Oh yeah, well, all of Europe, right?
Yeah, all of Europe. So anywhere. Cool. I mean, I don't really have a one place in Europe because I really don't know enough
just
about
any
it.
place.
You just
any place.
It's like throw a dart at the map.
That's all you have to
just
do.
Go there.
Especially if you're in Scotland, you just throw a rock and you're like, yeah, there's Nessie. There she is.
I heard you guys talking about that Edinburgh church. Wasn't it a church?
Edinburgh Castle, yeah.
Castle. Yeah. No, I wish
that
we
would
had
be
castles
cool.
here. That would be
amazing.
Well, there are castles
Pythian
in the
Castle
US.
in Ohio.
Yep.
Pythian Castle.
Pythian Castle would be a great one.
I'll
Loveland Castle.
Yeah, there are a bunch out east,
Really?
especially
Okay.
Yeah.
those old castles.
I
I'm
would
going to
never
give a
thought.
runner-up to Utah, though. And that'd be a place that hasn't been investigated at all, because I've been trying longer than I've known him to get in there, is the old paper mill.
Oh yeah, Cottonwood.
The old mill in Sandy.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I would love to get in that place because there were a lot of accidents there. My wife knows the owners, but it doesn't do any good. But I would love to investigate that place. But in the condemned state that it's in, they won't do it.
Well,
Too dangerous,
and
yeah.
that's where like it gets tough, right? Like we have this window of time, right? Which is one of the reasons why I'm so baffled by Europe, right? Because like you go to this building in Europe and you're like, when was it built? 1225, and you're like, well, that was 800 years ago.
Looks
it's still
brand
standing. Yeah, and you're like, you go to here and you're like, when was that building built? Oh, that was 15 years ago. You're like, you can't walk in that building without dying.
Yeah.
So it's just it's tough because if you don't get in after the building becomes abandoned, Mother Nature destroys our stuff so fast now.
Yes.
Especially with the salt here. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the weather, right? We do get
The
fairly
wind.
cold. We do get excruciatingly hot, and then the wind, to Jamie's credit, and the earthquakes, right?
Yeah.
Not like they're huge earthquakes in Utah, right? The biggest one we've had in recent history is only a 5.4, right? Granted, on the earthquake scale, that's pretty
Right.
minor.
That was big enough for me.
Scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah,
But I've never
all
been-
of us.
I mean, I'll take hurricanes over earthquakes anytime.
Yeah.
That's the only hurricane's the only natural disaster I have yet to be in. I've been in all the rest of them.
It's really not a big deal.
See,
I mean, if you get a Cat 5, of course, that's bad. But if you get a Cat 5 anything, that's bad. But,
yeah,
I mean, but I've been in a couple hurricanes, and it's like, yeah, it's some wind and some rain. But, man, that earthquake, because you don't know it's coming,
Yeah.
there is no
There's always the
preparation.
aftershocks that, kind of.
And but it's weird
jump
because
scare
I
you.
did know to go to the doorway. I did know
The
to
door
stand
frame.
in the door frame. I knew to
Yeah.
do that. I don't know why
Mhm.
I knew to do that. It must have been something that I learned
TV probably.
TV or
Scene.
something so long ago,
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't
Door
want
frame.
to. I don't want to do another one of those.
Well, no, because when those happen, you don't know how intense it's going to get.
No.
No, because it builds, right?
It can build
Yeah.
and
And you're
keep
like-
building,
You're like,
and you just don't know.
when's it going to stop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just don't know.
So, but we want to thank you guys for coming on and
Absolutely.
hanging
Yeah,
out with
thank you.
us. But where can they find you guys out there?
So we're on Facebook and under Broken Wings Paranormal. We are a private group, so if you add us, there'll be a little questionnaire. So please give us a shot. We do try to stay pretty active on that. We post our apparitions, anything we catch, we'll dumb it down to a small segment and, post it on there for everybody. So it's really cool. We're also on Instagram under Broken Wings _, or I'm sorry, Broken _ Wings _ Paranormal, because it was already taken. And then, let's see, what else? YouTube. And that's kind of all our content goes there, and that's Broken Wings Paranormal. So it's pretty cool. And there's about 6 of us in the group, 6 to 7. We have a couple floaters, but it just becomes that scheduling thing. Everybody's schedule just doesn't always hit the right date.
It can be hard to get everyone together in
Yeah.
one spot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we feel your pain.
Oh yeah.
And any events that we're doing are definitely posted in advance. Anything we're inviting the public to will be posted well in advance. Prices are always reasonable. So
And that's going to be up on your guys' YouTube page, or do you guys post them somewhere
that'll
else?
be on Facebook.
On Facebook. Okay. Do you guys post them up on Eventbrite or anything like that?
No, we
No.
haven't jumped into anything like that
Okay.
yet.
No,
Cool.
Maybe
Venmo
it might
doesn't
be
charge
in the-
people fees, and I don't believe in charging people fees on top of paying a fee to do something to begin with. So
But
Yeah.
Why have a fee on top of a fee on top of a
Yeah.
fee?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, check them out, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Thank you guys.
And then come check us out on Facebook at Cold Spot Paranormal Research, and on Instagram at Cold Spot _paranormal _research, and on Twitter at CPR Paranormal.
Yeah.
And like always, stay ghosty, my peeps. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_research.